Hello, my name is Muru Patel. I am the CEO and partner of Sapient Group and CEO and partner of Flash Group. I'm talking to you today on behalf of several inquiries I've had and the news media channel has had about what's our view on this latest WhatsApp, Facebook blackmail of stopping your service on February the 8th because they want to share that with the users. So based on that, I'm going to just share this slides that we've just done with extensive research and go through what I believe is really happening behind the scenes from my experience. And I've been in the .com industry since the early 90s, serial entrepreneur, and have seen several hundred scenarios like this. What happens with internet companies and how they keep your data, share it from a legal standpoint as well as a financial marketing standpoint. Okay, so what we do is we create all this disruptive types of technology coverage that interests our audience. Let's get on with it. So Facebook, are they clearly blackmailing people now? And do they really now want to stop WhatsApp users if they do not share their data with Facebook? We know now what it's all about. The game is all about you and your data. So if you think about it, Facebook started in the 90s, and I remember it when I was with Sun Microsystems in the .com era with Facebook, eBay, Amazon, Google, all of these things. In fact, one of our previous bosses, Eric Schmidt, left Sun Microsystems and was CEO chairman of Google for several years. So we knew what data was all about. We knew how to manipulate that data and how to use it for personal benefits should you wish to, for marketing reasons. And that's exactly what's happening. So Facebook, if you think about what they actually do, we, the product now, they have couple of decades minimum of most people's data if you've been there for a long time on everything that you like, you don't like, you comment, you share, family, friends, transactions, and a whole number of things that I will get into to make sure people are really aware of the kind of data that they keep. WhatsApp, on the other hand, when we thought it was an encrypted service, it went for sale. Facebook bought it for a reason, for a record-breaking $17 billion, a few years ago. So when they did that, there was a reason for it, because the user base it has with all their private chat, messages, financial transactions, even images. I know so many people, myself included, who've sent over the year images of bank statements through to please send me this, to various other transactions, knowing that it was a safe encrypted thing and people were not going to save that data. However, the time has come where it's out in the open. What's made it even worse for me is where Facebook, with its project Libra, which has had lots of controversy, wanting to be the world's largest bank, to virtually take over not only you, your data, your messages, but even your finances in the whole world, with 2 billion plus users and growing. So they rebranded it because of all the controversy and I guess, the SECs and all these other people coming down them saying, you cannot be doing this, So they rebranded it to DM, okay? But it's the same product, same stuff, okay? So where do we see this? Do we see this as a blackmail, okay? Let me cut that slide. Let me get into a very nice quote that Desmond Tutu, for those of you who don't know, was one of the rulers in Africa. So Desmond Tutu said when the missionaries came to Africa, they had the Bible, and when they left, they had the land. Okay, so what they said was, come, let us pray, close your eyes, and got everyone into that Christianity, etc. movement and exploited the country. And I don't want to get into a political debate here, but when they left, the locals were left with the Bible and the land belonged to the immigrants. Okay, so nothing is for free. And if you now look at that analogy and you actually look at what's happening with social media, when Facebook, WhatsApp, Google, all these people created platforms where they gave everything away for free, we started using it in the billions and hundreds of millions of transactions daily going through their services. What this created was two of the biggest target advertising platforms in the world. It reshaped media as we know it, and it reshaped digital marketing and advertising. These companies make tons of billions of revenues, and it's all through one product, and that is us. We are the product. Us, our data, our transactions, our personals, our locations, our names, addresses, and a whole raft of things that I'll get into. So with any story like that, there's no such thing as a free lunch. What you lose is your freedom, and that's exactly what's happening. And that comes with a price. So was Libra too controversial? And is that why they changed that name from Libra to DM? Okay. Facebook had a plan with Libra when they launched that or announced it rather, to say, we want to have global currency and financial infrastructure. And that was their original words. However, in that digital asset that they built, obviously powered by Facebook with their 2 billion plus users, they created a blockchain version, encrypted technology that is the same kind of like technology or another fork from the original Bitcoin cryptocurrency technology. And what it set out to do in that association of Libra, now the DM association, that the day will come when they will now transact everything through the DM dollar. So even the US dollar is at risk, and so are all the other currencies. And if you think about it, you transact $7 trillion a day. If Facebook, with its 2 billion plus users, even gets 10% of that transaction throughput, and that's very easy to do with the number of users it has, because by far it has the highest number of users, that is very close to 1 trillion per day. Now you do the maths. It has marketing, it has your social media, your private data, and now your transactional data. So they can charge you whatever they want at a later date, because they will make it so easy that, as I keep saying, 90% of the population in this world want things that are easy and convenient, and they will pay for it. A lot of the remittance services, and I don't like them, and I'll name some of them, like the M-Pesas in Africa, the Western Unions, MoneyGrams, etc., charge a fortune in remittances, where people generally earn less than even $50 or $100 a month, and they are being charged 10, 20% even for sending money to these, what I call, poor people, and it's not fair. So Facebook wants to totally change that, and PayPal tried to do that, but their fees are still high, and Facebook wants to bring it even lower to encroach all of these markets and take a huge market share out of those sorts of transactions. So that comes with a cost, and I think privacy is compromised. Okay, so why do I think that? So those of you who watch The Great Hack, the movie, two of the main people involved in it, Ravi Nayak, the lawyer, is a childhood family friend, and in discussion with him, together with Brittany Kaiser, who was the main person in there, exposing from inside out what Facebook was doing. And that law case was won by Ravi, and I know quite a bit about that law case, and it proved how Facebook was selling and manipulating people's data without their knowledge, and exposed them. So with this new policy, with what they are trying to do with WhatsApp and giving people that ultimatum outside, dare I point out, outside UK and Europe now, because of the several lawsuits that they have lost, like the Cambridge Analytica situation, plus the new EU EC laws, they've lost it, and lots of lawsuits with big penalties on Facebook's already happening. So UK, Europe will not be affected by this. However, my view is even those people's data will be shared with Facebook. It's no conspiracy theory. They have the data anyway. So at some point in time, they will find some loophole with the law, because the EC directive, or the new EC directive, is due out anytime now. And in April as well, another law is coming out regarding privacy, use of consent-based data, things along these lines. So they will find the loopholes because they are big enough to do that. And it takes years before any authority or regulator can go after big conglomerates like Facebook, Google. So personally, I think that's what's happening. And what I think is happening is your phone number, all these contact information you have, the logs, names, addresses, and I'll go through that list in a minute. So to share that now as a compulsory thing outside UK, Europe is a big thing. So what's happened? If you are following the news, Telegram and Signal have taken the lead on daily downloads purely because of this. So people realize now and are awakening to the value of them and their data and their privacy. So if you look at that list that I keep talking about, on the left is the Facebook Messenger, what it keeps on you. So you could have all your purchase history, all the financial information, transactions you do, your exact location up to 5-10 meters of where you are, where you've been, how you've moved, where you've come from, where you've been to, because all that location is stored. So they know your travel, they know your spend, they know the kind of websites you go to, they know the kind of games you play, right down to personal photos, associations of people. They do various data mining and cleaning and data analytics on you to profile you for their target suppliers or advertisers who would want to target you as an individual. So don't be surprised when you say, why is this ad following me? Because I clicked on a website that I happen to want to buy a car or TV or a laptop or whatever, and you see all these bombardments coming through to you. So that is some of the reason where it comes from, together with Google, when you go on their website and do various searches. So all that search history and all that gets brought in, and that's how it's presented to these advertisers to give them value and bang for their buck to advertise on these platforms, because you can choose all these things right down to the town, the city, the profiling, the age, the locations, what kind of income bracket you're into, and numerous things along these lines. WhatsApp, on the other hand, has a lot of other criteria that it keeps and shares with your data with Facebook starting February the 8th. So with that combo, you can imagine now what will happen when DM is absolutely launched and absolutely what I call taking advantage of people, because it's easy to transact just through a messenger or WhatsApp to say, send me $5, $10, and it costs you less than the MoneyGrams, Western Unions, M-Pesas of the world, etc. And definitely the bank transfers. But that's another subject on its own right. However, because 2 billion odd people do that, it's easier. We as a company, as Flash Group and Sapien Group, we have our own remittance wallet, gold pegged coin. We have our own crypto stations, what you see behind me. And all these things we're doing to do financial inclusion and beyond. So we are trying to make it as easy as possible and giving people consent on what they want to see and get paid for it. Imagine the day when Facebook shares the revenue with yourself because you are the product now. Okay, that's what we are doing, and that's what we are going to be rolling out throughout this year. Okay, go to the other scale. Why I touched on Telegram and Signal. Downloads have gone through the roof and become the number 1 and 2 downloads currently on the App Store or Google Store, wherever. Okay, so Signal, zero data. Telegram, just your contact types of data, and that's it. User ID, contacts, that's it. So you're not sharing much. But can you imagine money and making machine for Facebook now, when there are billions of people uh, with us being the product that they want to sell to and add through ad revenue, and this revenue is not shared with us, so it's time for a lot of other blockchain decentralized social media platforms that I know are propping up just now, and plenty of Signal and Telegram types of messengers also popping up with encryption, with no share of data, and same with browsers as well, that does protect your privacy and shares revenue with you. So that is where the world is going. We have got our own ad chain, flash ad chain project, which will be doing exactly that. So watch this space. What we are doing, we share 30% of that revenue with the client, and also we contribute between 10 and 15% also to charities from that revenue, and make it a good ecosystem. The rest is then based on the person, how we share that revenue with, etc. So that model is disrupted, and Facebook, Google, they will follow in the coming years. But we are out there enabling this for people. So imagine having your own bank, being your own bank and wealth manager, but getting paid for using it as well. So that's our mission. Now let's look at what I call the future of this privacy and what it holds for you. So in my view, I think that Facebook is up for a rude awakening pretty soon. It's already started. WhatsApp, same thing, rude awakening. Uh, and what people could do in the early days by opting out, they will lose out on that if they don't agree and be kicked off from the WhatsApp community. So people will soon choose alternative ways, and when people start doing that, they move. It's rarely they come back. Okay, it's very rare they come back, because it's a nightmare taking you, your contacts, all your chat groups and all that, and transitioning to another platform. So it's like a scar. Okay. um, However, as I said, UK and Europe won't be affected, but in my view, they will have the data, and until they work it out, that's when they're launching. So we've lost the trust. I think that's the main point here. We've really lost the trust now, because some of this security and data privacy-based breaches have encroached a little bit too far, how it's shared, and the Cambridge Analytica, I'll come back to that, has proven it. But just imagine, how can a Russian company like Telegram, with all this conspiracy theory you hear about Russians, how can you trust a Russian company not to keep this, whilst Facebook, Google, all these people are openly keeping it and targeting you with all of this information? So do we need to argue about that? I don't think so. On a closing note, I will put down a couple of quotes. So one is from those who watched the Wall Street in 1987, but we've always said that I've been brought up from my parents that, information is king. He who has the right information and can use it and have the knowledge to use it is king. That's how the media companies make a lot of money. But more importantly, in that business, I touched on 7 trillion a day. What I said in 2000, in fact, I actually said it before in the late 1990s, when I used to work at Sun Microsystems during the early stages of .com and the internet. I soon realized, having bought a car off the internet in the 90s, late 90s, 98 I think it was, being crazy enough to buy an S-Class Merc from the internet, I said, hang on, this is crazy. And what I soon realized then was that people and their data will be the products of the .com era. And people were saying, what are you talking about? I said, exactly that. People and you and your data, that is king. So that's what .com is all about. And when I ran the desktop and the office-based products for Sun in UK and Ireland, it was quoted in some press and media and events that, your data, you are the products and you are king. So treat it very, very, very carefully and with value. So with that, I'll see you the next time when we have another interesting topic. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.